lately we've been focusing on a lot more of like the hardcore, important real life politics stuff about how we've been focusing a lot on how our country has been kind of descending into fascism. Very serious stuff. We haven't had a lot of time to just sit back, relax, and have fun watching some culture war grift YouTubers in a while. And that's what we're going to take some time to do today. We got a good old Geeks and Gamers video loaded up right now, and we're going to be watching that in just a moment. So for those of you guys that don't know, because somehow I imagine there's some of you who don't know the details about who Geeks and Gamers is, he is a grifting right-wing YouTuber. His grift extends so far as to the fact that he has made hundreds, I'm not even kidding, hundreds of videos on Brie Larson, the actress who plays what's her name? Captain Marvel. I'm not even joking with you right now. Hundreds of videos on her. Can you imagine that? And this is in a very short time period, too. And I would understand if it was somebody who is actually bad. Like, if it was a bad person, like a prominent figure who is a bad person, like, I don't know, Donald Trump or I don't know, Bill Clinton, I don't know. Like, somebody like that. That would be understandable. They're a relevant political figure. That makes sense. Brie Larson's just an actress. They're just obsessed with this fucking actress for some reason. My best understanding is that, like, she's a feminist, and so they definitely hate that, but I don't know, it's so weird. Yeah, Captain Marvel too, I forgot. Yeah, she played Captain Marvel. She was very well liked for her role in Scott Pilgrim, though. Like, one of the most critically acclaimed, like, at least in hindsight, comic book nerd, like, type movies out there. I haven't watched it in a real long time. I know Bouth likes it. Okay. Let's check out the video though. Let's not dawdle too much. Let's see this video. This one's called Even the SJWs Hate Black Tinkerbell. Okay then. What is this about?
When Disney debuted its newest race swap bastardization for Peter Pan and Wendy, when they decided that they're going to race swap Peter Pan, they're going to race swap the Lost Boys and make half of them girls. And you got a problem with that? And then also race swap Tinkerbell. It didn't go over very well with fans. You saw this ratio. This is something that's going to be exclusively on Disney Plus. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see any box office numbers for it, which I wish we could. I wish they would release this in theaters. But as you can see, at nearly a 10-to-1 rate, 450.
For those guys that don't know, these guys' entire, like, shtick, like, the entire, this entire niche on YouTube is just, like, weird dudes on the internet, like, rooting for the downfall of media that has minorities in it. We found another wiener dog. Let's hope we can get some bones. That's pretty much all this is. Like, it's just chuds rooting for the downfall of any media that dares have minorities in it. And it's ideal for them if it's something like, oh, it was an established property and then there was a race swap situation. But, like, these people generally don't care about that in other situations, right? Like, if it's not something they can politicize and make a big deal about, like, they don't care about the race swapping. Like, no one cared when they made Nick Fury black in the MCU. Like, none of these people cared back then because there wasn't an entire culture around caring about it. Yeah, also, Peter Pan was always a fucking non-binary femboy in my eyes. Even before that was a thing, even before I knew what that was. That's what he was.
56,000 dislikes to 47,000 likes. And this was actually really, I think, one of the first ones we've seen where more backlash, like, from publicly, from, like, I guess the woke community was almost like, you know what? Hey, we asked for a little of this. We're kind of tired of it. Disney faces backlash.
Listen, no one on the left has been asking for these, like, live action Disney remake, like, race swap movies. Isn't it always interesting how these people feel the desperate need to pretend like the left is like desperately craves this type of content? Because I assure you, like, we're out there just dunking on it nonstop. They have to pretend like we're fully in favor of it, because what they have to pretend is that this, like, these big companies that release media that is, like, tangentially woke is somehow part of the same cultural force as the left. It's not. It's just capitalism trying to make money off of people with progressive values. That's all this is.
Over race swap Black Tinkerbell would rather have new POC characters. And you saw a lot of this. People finally saying, hey, you know what? Disney doesn't actually.
Yeah. Finally saying, God, I wish I could make content where I just make up shit like this, where I just pretend that we live in a different world than reality. It would be so much easier to just bust out content if this is what I could do.
Care enough about Black people to give us characters. They're just giving us sloppy seconds from white people. Disney couldn't care less about making new stories with POC characters. They just put POC people to play white characters. And that shows how lazy Disney is and how racist this is, that they don't think they deserve their own. Same thing here. Instead of giving POC their own movies or making new movies with POC characters, they decided just make white characters Black for some reason. Well, they're continuing to make this worse because the actress who plays Black Tinkerbell, Jeremy, is speaking out. And she's saying that Disney, they're not just plugging Black and brown people into these spots. They're intentionally doing this to give us the fairy tale we deserve. Jesus Christ. I don't know, Yara Shahidi.
So the actress almost certainly, like, probably agrees with this. Like, I'm sure she believes that when she says it, but obviously that's just, like, corporate Disney speak. Like, these right-wing YouTubers, these grifttubers will, like, call out the corporate greed of a company while also being, like, equally greedy themselves, ironically. They're massive grifters. And then act like they just said something special or insightful. Like, no one is impressed by the fact that you're calling out Disney for being a money-grubbing, soulless corporation. No one's giving you kudos for this.
I actually think you deserve more than that. I actually think you deserve more than sloppy seconds from white characters. I think that you deserve better, but you don't. So I guess that's where we are.
It's interesting that you see pronouns and bio people saying the same shit we've been saying for the last few years. And now suddenly.
God. I like how they can't even help themselves from saying something like just not even transphobic, just stupid. Like, the concept of having your pronouns in your bio is like not necessarily a lefty trans thing. It's just a thing that helps people know what to refer to you as online. Like, I have he, him in my bio because people don't by default know I'm a guy just by looking at my account. Maybe I get into a Twitter argument with someone and they want to say, like, yeah, he's saying this to their friend. Like, I feel like it's just easier, you know? Yeah, your pronouns came free. Holy shit, everyone has pronouns. It came free with your fucking Xbox. That's a really good meme, a pillow. No, we are not saying the same thing as these people. We are calling out the fact that these corporations are simply utilizing the fact that right now, for one thing, these people will never accept that progressive values are the popular position, and that's what these companies are marketing to. They'll never admit that, so we're not saying the same thing fundamentally. They think that like these companies are marketing themselves to a loud minority that is continuously failing to follow through on making them money. But despite that, these companies continue to make money because in reality, these companies are not going woke and going broke. That's just not what's happening. Did I forget to pick up redstone while I was underground? I totally did, didn't I? Yep. Let's go on a redstone mission.
It's a little more acceptable. It's almost like that happens pretty often. It's almost like we told you guys that the sequel trilogy, you know, it didn't have a plan. And then by the time we got to the Rise of Skywalker, and they pretty much abandoned everything
God, these
that
people
was
are
set up
so...
in The Last Jedi because they didn't
These people are so bitter about those Star Wars movies. Christ.
have a plan. Then The Last Jedi fans were screaming and crying and whining because why? They didn't have a plan. But of course, saying they didn't have a plan before the freaks, I guess, figured it out. Well, that was racist and sexist and toxic, and we were just being negative.
Why are you calling people who liked a movie the freaks and then getting mad that people are calling you toxic and negative? What are you talking about, dude? Yeah, your content is pretty decisively toxic by the looks of it. I mean, that's been my view. I like that's definitely a way to describe it. Like, it's definitely not the most toxic content on the internet. The essence of it is toxic, but on its face, it's not the most toxic stuff out there, but, you know.
But here we are once again, right? And now you see a lot of these social justice activists are even saying all the stuff we've been saying for years, but it was toxic when we were saying it. Now suddenly you're starting to see we were exactly right. Disney, Lucasfilm, Hollywood, they don't care about black people. They don't care about diversity. All they care about is their agenda-driven bullshit and their lazy attempt to give it to all of you weirdos that
Wait, what's the agenda then? Wait. Okay, so you're saying they don't care about any minorities or any of these progressive values then, but you've claimed the agenda is the progressive values. What is the agenda? The agenda is to make money, if they have any agenda at all. That's it, just to make money. But you're always claiming that they're pushing a progressive agenda. So, like, it makes no sense. You just want to have your cake and eat it too. Why can he not form a coherent position that doesn't contradict itself?
Screaming about representation.
You know, maybe we should just put pronouns in our bio, Jeremy, and then we'll be able to say all these things and not get any backlash. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard.
Dude, something about his voice and the way that came out was like, it sounded like the most pathetic attempt at a right-wing joke ever. Like, hey man, what if we put pronouns in our bios, man? We own the lefties, man.
I heard that.
Now, she goes into this interview and she talks a lot about her college experiences and African-American studies and all this bullshit. He'll finally gets to this.
Okay.
Met with praise from the interviewer over how the House of Mouse latest casting habit indicated they were moving in a more inclusive direction. Shahidi then attempted to claim, and somewhat nonsensically, that her appearance in Peter Pan and Wendy was not a lazy attempt to virtue signal, but rather representative of a cultural desire within the company to repackage their old products for new and diverse audiences. Quote, I talked to the director of Peter Pan and Wendy about why he and the higher-ups at Disney wanted to retell this story, and I loved his response. They wanted to bring some new fun to this classic, but also give us the fair.
I like how these people's, like, grift is starting to get so tired at this point, because, like, Geeks and Gamers has been pumping out this garbage for so long, and he's not really, like, he's not a personality, you know? You're not going to see videos of him going out and, like, doing stuff in another state or another country, like a vlog type video or like long streams where it's just him talking about his life and stuff, where he's just getting to know his chat and his chat's getting to know him. Because, like, his entire appeal is just that he's spewing political, like, not even political propaganda, just entertainment for right-wingers. That's all this is. It's entertainment for bigots. It's not even really propaganda. It has a propagandistic effect, but it's just meant to be entertainment for bigots, to keep reeling in money from an audience that agrees with them.
Fairy tale we deserve. It's evident they're not just popping black and brown folks in the cast for the sake of updating the story. Instead, it's about creating a story that so many more people can see themselves in after we've been left out for so long.
Oh my God.
You absolutely are just popping black and brown people in. That's what you're fucking doing to these stories. And please stop pretending like we haven't seen black people in media, like we haven't seen brown people in media.
No one's saying that we haven't seen black or brown people in media. It is objectively true that there is a disparity in Hollywood when it comes to, like, who is, like the number of actors that are white and those that are black. Like, there's a very and those that are, like, other non-white or black, like, POC, right? Like, it's very clear. It's very apparent. It's very abundant. All right, let's cook up a little bit more of this.
And the idea that you're celebrating taking this already established white thing and that they're just race swapping it
Already established white thing. Oh, he let the mask slip.
And turning around, that's giving you the fairy tale you deserve. It's a fucking joke. And I don't understand this shit. Jeremy, when I watch things on TV, I didn't sit there and say, you know what? I like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I really want an entirely white remake of it. That's really what I would love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for.
This guy's
it's
losing
so weird
it.
That we see
this guy's
that
lost
in
the
current
plot.
day, social media. I don't know.
Absolutely. Just like when you were younger, you would say that about, you know,
their grift's gotten so tired. I was saying this before, but I kind of lost my train of thought. Their grift has gotten so tired, and they like it's so old, and they don't have any like parasocial attachment to their audience or any real social attachment to their audience. So like his grift's getting old, and he has to bring in his friend to like back him up. So there's a second voice there because he's starting to falter on like being able to come up with propaganda points to come up with. So just having another head there to keep spouting shit keeps the video length going because they gotta hit that what is it, like the 6 or 7 minute mark now you have to hit now to get ad revenue, like to get the mid-roll ads.
There's tons of black sitcoms that we would watch, and they're very enjoyable. The same
Cosby
with like
Show, Family Matters, like
yes,
come the fuck on.
Black, and then there's and on the flip side, there's black, you know, people that watched shows like Home Improvement or you know Seinfeld or
Home Improvement is for only white people? I guess it's probably mostly white people watching it, but isn't Home Improvement about, like, house renovation? I may be thinking of something else, but...
Full House, they fully enjoyed it because it's not about this stuff. And we have to... They're preying on the mentally ill and the mentally weak is what they're doing. That's what they're doing with this stuff. Like they
having brown people in your movies is preying on the mentally ill and the mentally weak. Okay.
Want to find these mentally ill people. They want to prey on them so they can make them be these victims. They just continue to push it and push it and push it.
What is this?
Eventually, it's going to pop. And I don't think we're like really.
What is he talking about? It's so vague. Like, it's just conservative buzzwords and vagueness. I actually had a brief run-in with this guy. Not really a debate, but like a run-in with this guy on a podcast. And his response to me when I said I think he's a misogynist was, "Oh, yeah? Well, my wife and daughter are in the other room. How..." Like, that was basically it. Just like, yeah, well, I've got a wife and daughter. They're literally in the other room. And then he made an excuse to leave. And that was the end of it. That was my one interaction with him.
Close to the pop yet, but we're moving in that direction slowly but surely. This will not last forever. This will be an era where people will look back on and go, how the hell did this happen?
Right-wingers have been saying this for a very, very long time. The conservatives have always tried to push this idea that they are actually the true progressive movement and that lefties are this regressive force that is degenerating society backwards. But in reality, we are those that have always pushed society forward and made it more accepting and allowed people of a broader group of identities feel accepted, welcome, and capable of functioning within society. Society has only gotten better as the left's influence has gotten stronger. So yeah, this is objectively true. The right and these grifting pieces of shit and their videos being preserved online forever will be seen as the wrong side of history in perpetuity. They are objectively on the wrong side of history. And that is how they'll be remembered, without a single doubt in my mind.
And I know it's hard to believe that that's possible, but it is. And I do believe that we're going to look back on this time and recognize how nonsensical it is. It will happen.
Like,
and a lot of us already
sustainable, right? Like this shit like is showing that people are getting over it. When again, like you said, when you're getting backlash from the black community, when you're getting backlash from the woke community, when you're getting backlash from the people that like this stuff, you think that that's pandering to. Like that because let's be real, that's the audience you're targeting when you do things like this for your more diverse and modern audiences.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling you, nah, this is kind of bullshit. Like, we're kind of...
The woke community is black people, by the way. That's what they mean. They mean black people when they say the woke community. All right. Really quick, I'm gonna take an aside to tell you how this works. This is a generator. I burn fossil fuels in it, such as coal, and it creates electricity. I've got a insulated copper wire that leads to this macerator, which is breaking each copper ore down into 2 copper dust. And each copper dust can be smelted into a single copper ingot. Meaning that macerator allows me to double the output of my ores. So it was important for me not to smelt all of my stuff too quickly, or I would have limited my ability to literally double my output. So yeah, back to it.
I'm getting tired of this. We realize your game. You're taking these things you've done before and you're just inserting black and brown people in it. That's all you're doing. It's not sustainable. Now, in terms of Disney, we know that they're like one failed movie on Disney Plus doesn't mean shit for them. They've got a lot of other stuff.
Also, with more time, it's only going to get more sustainable. Like, how are these people so bad at using their brains? The longer we go between the release of these original releases in the present, the more market there will be for a remake where they race swap. Even if there's no attention brought to the race swap at all, there will be a market for some kind of remake, and there'll be an opening for there to be a race swap because the race of the character probably won't be that important if we're being all that honest. Like, the race of Tinkerbell is not that important. Her being black isn't going to change the story much. They say that as an argument against making her black. I say that as an argument against complaining about her being black. Who cares? It's not worth complaining about. Vote with your wallet. Just don't go see the movie. The only reason they're making this video is so that they can monetize it. They're grifters. Ooh, we can make some arrows. We got flint.
Stuff going on, but when you're looking at the landscape of entertainment industry, all these live action remakes that Disney's doing, it is going downhill in terms of popularity with the way that they're going about this.
God, they really didn't say much of anything there. Like, I feel like even in my more, like, meme-y videos that are just me kind of joking around and just, like, having fun, I feel like even in those videos, I give a pretty decent effort and even generally succeed at giving some commentary about, like, a broader cultural trend or a broader societal tendency, you know? Like, I say something that I hope you guys can learn from about broader, like, political, like, tendencies in our culture right now. Like, something substantial, something tangible, you know? But that was just them talking about how wokeness is ruining everything. And it's gonna end soon, guys. It's all gonna go broke soon. They're gonna go broke soon, guys. I know it hasn't happened yet, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, guys. Trust me. And believe me, guys, the left is totally in favor of these cringe things. Ignore all the lefties who make fun of this too. They're just, like, I guess every time the left makes such a, like, gets so mad about something like this that they can't ignore it. They can't pretend like the left is in favor of it. They pretend like, the left is just now finally on board with this being cringe. They're finally against this now. They're finally agreeing with us on this. It's like, no, we've never been in favor of this. Our criticism's been distinctively different from yours. Your name is D. Lancer. It's, French for spear. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, anyway, that's really all I have to say about this, but God, these guys are f***ing grifting pieces of. But at the very least, I don't feel like most people who aren't already, like, lost in the sauce and, like, right-wing political propaganda are likely to heed much of what these guys have to say. Like, just generally speaking, I feel like this content is mostly aimed at people who are already pretty right-wing. This guy really not pooped yet? God damn it. Anyway, that's all.